Welcome to this episode of the Heartbeat for Hire podcast. I feature Olympians, CEOs, disruptors, authors, professional athletes, and the best of the best, where they share their stories of resilience with my lens on leadership and culture. Let's get started. Greetings and welcome to this episode of the Heartbeat for Hire podcast. 3 things you will learn from episode 135. 1, that being a pioneer ain't easy. Number 2, to be great at anything, you must put in the work. And number 3, why the strength of any good brand is due to its community. Jackie Summers is a James Beard finalist, a seasoned public speaker, a prolific writer, an activist, and serial entrepreneur. He is the founder of JackFromBrooklyn, Inc. and the creator of the award-winning Sorel Liqueur. He is also the first Black licensed distiller in the United States, which is pretty incredible. Some of his accolades include being named among the inaugural Drink Innovators of the Year by Food and Wine magazine, being named among the inaugural Wine Enthusiast Future 40, being ranked among the world's 100 most influential bar industry figures by Drink International magazine in 2019, 2020, 21, 22, 23, and being named to the 50 most influential people in Brooklyn food. He has written for everyone from the James Beard Foundation to Plate, Wine Enthusiast, Vine Pair, Epicurious, Delish, and Edible Brooklyn. His flagship brand, Sorel Liqueur, is the most awarded liqueur, American-made liqueur of all time, having garnered hundreds of gold or better awards. I could go on and on. Jackie, welcome to the show.
It is so good to see you, Lynn. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I love seeing you. This is such a treat. So I start every show the same, and I ask my guests to please share a little bit of your story. And you have stories for days. So you have free reign. Go, my friend.
I'm going to follow your lead. It's so great to see you.
You
I'm
too.
going to give the super short version of the story, and then we can go into detail.
Love it.
2010, had a cancer scare. They found a tumor inside my spine, the size of a golf ball. My doctor said you have a 95% chance of death and a 50% chance of paralysis. If you live, you should organize your paperwork. I lived. It would be a weird conversation if I die.
Indeed.
But the experience will adjust your perspective. I was given the gift of being able to step back and look at my life. And I had 25 years invested in corporate America. But what I really want to do is day drink. I don't want to be in an office in the middle of the day. I want to be in a bar, hang out with cool people like you. I want to have good food, good conversation. And because I live in Brooklyn, I needed to monetize it. And my thought was, how am I going to enjoy this life and pay for it? Again, shortening the story, my grandparents came from Barbados in 1920 to this country. My grandfather was a chef. In the Caribbean, there is a drink everybody makes called sorrel, Sorrel. It's been around for centuries, at least 500 years. I was making a version of this in my kitchen for friends and family, like any good Caribbean boy, but I never understood why no one had tried to make a commercial alcoholic version. So having no money and no experience and no background as a food scientist, I told myself, yes,
I'm going to do this.
I'm going to be the first person that actually makes this into a commercial product. 623 failures in my kitchen to get the recipe right. In the process, I do become America's first legal licensed Black distiller as of 2012, and it has become the most awarded American-made liqueur ever.
Ah,
And when we say gold or better, you have to say the gold better part, because we got gold, we got double gold, we got triple gold, we got platinum, we got double platinum, we got
I
triple
love it.
platinum. We got best category. We got best of show. We got best in the U.S. by the World Liqueur Awards. We got top 100 spirits by Wine Enthusiast magazine.
It's amazing.
All recipe that I made in my kitchen because I didn't want to go back to an office.
I love that for so many reasons. So for those who have not experienced Sorel, can you describe it? Because I think they're curious. Like, what was this liqueur that was made in the Caribbean? What does it taste like? Give me some of your notes on that.
Sudanese hibiscus, Nigerian ginger, Indonesian cinnamon and nutmeg, Brazilian
Mm,
clove, 15% alcohol. It is a bright scarlet garnet color. Uh, it is all of the fruit and floral notes and the acidity of the hibiscus flower and
Mm.
all of the baking spice notes that make you feel like you're home.
Mm. Oh,
This,
I want some now. And I know some of my friends, they like it warm
yeah,
and some people like it on the rocks. So, and you were telling me you could make it, you could put it with anything. And I mean, there's a bar in Boston I've still on my list that I have to go to and they serve it. So I'm like really excited to go. I think it's Comfort Kitchen. Um,
yes.
but yeah, I'm dying to go try it. So yeah, and it can be done. It's super versatile, right?
It is the most versatile spirit on the market, and here's why. This is something that no one actually says out loud in the industry, but I own it, I claim it. Alcohol is poison. There's a reason every single bottle of alcohol comes with a warning label.
That's right.
Uh, but this is not dissuaded human beings one iota. We have thousands of years trying to figure out how to make poison
Yeah.
more potable. The
Hmm.
ancient Egyptians made tinctures. They put botanicals in their alcohol. The Scandinavians were the first to put it into casks so it would absorb the flavor of the wood. Do
Mhm.
we add sugar? Do we add water? How can we drink this thing which might kill us? Big Liquor has a standard approach to this. They take alcohol and add flavor.
Mhm.
So we get things like cinnamon flavored whiskey and
Right.
habanero flavored tequila. We reverse the logic. They're all taking alcohol and adding flavor. I take flavor
And add alcohol.
and add alcohol. And because the approach is different, you can mix this with literally anything, and it does one thing better than any other modifier. It masks the flavor of ethanol. That
Mm.
part of your brain, which is supposed to register, hey, this might be poison. Maybe we should, yeah, that part
That's very
turns off
drinkable.
because you're getting hibiscus and cinnamon and ginger and nutmeg and you don't taste the alcohol at all. And you can put this with anything: gin, vodka, rum, mezcal, tequila, scotch, bourbon, rye, sake, and it will turn off that receptor that perceives
Wow.
and push the flavor forward. So if you make a gin cocktail, you will get more floral notes. If you make a cocktail with something that's been aged, a
Yeah.
rum whiskey, you'll get more barrel notes. I've got a restaurant in northern Kentucky that's doing equal parts Sorel
Mhm.
and chartreuse,
Ooh.
which is really, it really messes with your head. It very clearly is this deep garnet color, so it looks like Sorel. It smells like chartreuse. But when you sip it, it is taking all of the very aggressive elements
Chartreuse
of
is
chartreuse,
potent.
which is
Yeah.
110 proof, and
Yeah.
it sort of chills it out, and you feel like you're sipping a very herbaceous tea when you're drinking a 140 proof
Oh,
cocktail.
could get you into a little trouble. Um, so okay, so let's go back a little bit because you're told you have this tumor in your
Yes,
spine. You
yes,
make these decisions to
yes,
leave your finance life and
yes.
go out on your own. But okay, that could not have been easy, not to mention the health aspect of it. But you find yourself really in not such a great space financially or health wise. So take us through a little bit of that story and kind of what was going on. Because I know you tell a really specific story about waking up in the cold, and I invite you to go there.
Two things happen in the course of this adventure. I do launch this distillery in May of 2012, and it just is received so well, critically and publicly. It's out there doing gangbusters in the fall of 2012. Lucky Magazine, remember them?
Yeah.
Put us on their gift guide page, and they call Sorel the gift to give in multiples. I'm getting orders not for cases, but for pallets from around the country. And then Hurricane Sandy destroyed my distillery.
Mhm.
I destroy 6 feet of seawater
Oh,
in
I
the basement,
remember.
5 feet on the first floor, all of the commodities, all the equipment, everything
Gone.
destroyed. FEMA didn't pay a dime. The SBA did not pay a dime. I put the entire thing back together with what was left of whatever money I had and all the energy I could muster. Relaunched the business in the beginning of 2013. Did so well that by 2015, we got an offer to take the brand national by a very large company. Signed a deal worth millions of dollars. They reneged on that deal. But the brand was hot, so got into a three-way bidding war with three of the biggest liquor companies on the planet. Got a very aggressive bid, again, for millions of dollars in the summer of 2016. They reneged as well. So a company can only go so long without any finances.
Yeah.
I ended up homeless for a year and a half.
Mm.
From the middle of 2016 and middle of 2017, I was unhoused. Thank you for friends who were willing to spare a couch
Yeah.
for a couple days. Thank you for friends who were trusting me to look after their cats when they went out of town on business. But I am literally pitching all of these liquor moguls, and while I'm homeless, I'm trying to find cash so I can make it to these appointments, and I'm trying to make sure I can shower and shave.
Yeah.
Well, not shave that ball, but whatever. And everyone is saying the same thing. Listen, this is a great brand, great
Yeah, they
track
all love
record.
you, but like no one's
Good
putting
luck
in
with
the,
that, kid.
yeah.
And I'll never forget I'll never forget waking up on the morning of December 17th, 2017. And mind you, I'm 50 years old. I'm 50 years old. And I wake up to the unmistakable sensation of snowflakes melting on my face, which sounds idyllic, except I live in New York City.
Yeah,
I
not so
woke up
idyllic.
outside. I woke up outside. And my first thought was not, oh, let me go find somewhere warm. My first thought was, I am saving up money by writing, and
Yeah.
I have an essay that's due today. And if I miss my deadline, I won't have money to make the deposit for my apartment. So
Yeah.
my first thought is, let me find somewhere I can plug in
Yeah.
my phone.
Yeah. Right? I mean but
And
that's a real need. I mean, you were writing that you were writing to survive. So,
very much like the song from the musical Hamilton, I had to write my way out.
yeah.
And it I think it's funny now in retrospect. The essay that I wrote the morning I woke up behind a dumpster won Best Food Essay of 2019 by the American Food Journalists Association. So
Oh my God. I mean, it just goes to show though, like when you look at the optics of success, here you have all of these awards. You've got this beautiful award you got for this essay, but you're waking up to snow melting on your face. And
yeah.
everyone would think like, oh, he's got it made in the shade. He doesn't need our millions of dollars. He'll get it from somebody else. And you just stuck with it. So let's talk a little bit about the work because you firmly believe, and I agree, that to get anywhere in life, you've got to put in the work. You can't just show up and expect it to all work out and be like, well, I've got a great brand, so off I go.
So there's a theme that I find is recurrent in all of the people that we think of as the greats.
Yeah.
And the theme is brilliance is the price of admission. That's you don't get anything by being brilliant. That's where you start. And that's the point we have to see. Not that I'm in the group, not that I'm in the presence, not that I'm among other people who are brilliant. How do I distinguish
Mm.
myself? And that's where the work comes in,
Hmm.
right? You take someone like Michael Jordan, incredible athletic ability, but
Amazing.
he knew that when he started college, he wasn't the best.
Hmm.
And other people knew that. And he figured out, okay, I can't beat you, but I can
Outwork
outwork
you.
you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is the theme that carries across every medium. Yes, uh, Brilliance is your starting point, but that's where you really start to. Can I tell you something that I personally?
Yeah.
I've been writing 12 hours a day. I'm working my full 8 hours a day, but I'm writing before work and writing after work every day because that's the
Yeah.
only thing that's done. There's something that happens, and we refer to this as aura. When you are that person who is starting at brilliance, but you build on it with the work, that's when you transcend. Do you
Hmm.
remember when they did the 2010 uh, Rock and Roll Hall inductions? And you've got a bunch of guitar legends on stage just killing My Gently Weep, while
My
my
guitar
guitar.
gently weeps. Yeah.
And then Tom Petty asked Prince, who's standing off to the side, to step out, and he jumped. He was so much better
Oh,
than the rock
I
gods that
remember.
stage. And they're looking at him like, who the fuck is this guy? But
Yeah.
that's somebody who started at brilliance and then put in the work. And when you put that work in, you develop what we call the aura. And the aura is that second where you're not looking for the spotlight anymore. The spotlight is looking for you.
Mm. Mm. Boom, mic drop. Love that. Woo! Oh my gosh, that is brilliant. So let's talk about community. I mean, you and I are both outliers. We have, great love for that community. But let's talk about community as in relation to a brand. Because I would imagine, and you tell me if I'm right, when you are peddling Sorel around to whoever, you have to get buy-in. You have to get people to want to be a part of your adventure. So, talk a little bit about why community was important and why you still think it's important.
Here's why community matters for entrepreneurs. Have you heard the saying, the way to be an entrepreneur is you start with an idea and you jump off a cliff and you build wings on the way down?
Yeah,
Don't do that, you'll die.
it's not great.
Here's what it's really like. It's like NASCAR, because you start off the guy on the couch.
Hmm.
Like every other guy on the couch, you're watching this and you say to yourself, I think I could do that.
I can drive a car.
Most people never get off the couch.
Mm-hmm.
They're comfortable with the idea that they could do it if they had the chance.
Mm-hmm.
But 1% of the people watching decide that they're going to prove they can do it. But in order to do that, you must either have or get up enough money to rent a car and time on a track. And then you drive the kiddie circuit. And you have to be good enough to attract sponsorship. So you're an entrepreneur. You have this idea. Lots of people have ideas. It means nothing.
That's right.
If you don't put the work in, your idea is worth nothing. But you convince friends and family, I think I can do this really well.
Hmm.
That's your friends and family around getting enough money to get up on to rent a car and get on the track.
Sure.
And now you're doing the kiddie circuit. Now you got some media, you got some talk going around about you, you got some sales. But the point is, can you be good enough?
Hmm.
Can you develop that kind of aura where the spotlight seeks you and now you've got sponsorship? And so now you're on the big circuit. And what started off as a one-person team, now you've got 200 people around you. You've got mechanics, you've got
Yeah.
engineers, you've got a personal dietitian, you've got a photographer, you've got media, you've got PR, you've got finance people. And if you win, the whole team
That's
wins.
right.
If you drive that caller into a wall, that's on you.
Hmm.
And the whole point is people have to want you to win.
Yeah.
When everybody wants you to win, you will. People will go out of their way to find out. Here's somebody, yes, the product is good, but that person, I want to see what I can do to help them.
Well, I love that you said that. And to me, when I describe the Outlier Project, I
Yeah.
talk about it's a group of people that want to see you win.
Yes.
And there is something so contagious and so delightful and so heartfelt and inspired when you are around these people that are like, oh, you're talking about XYZ. I know somebody that can do that. Hold on, let me make an intro. And they have
Yes.
nothing to gain other than, no, no, this person's great. I know them and I want to help them. And that selfless action comes from community.
Yeah.
So did you experience that with Sorel and having people that were helping you fight the fight, or was it really on your shoulders by yourself?
So I am a strong believer in the investment in community before you need it.
Yeah,
If you're not somebody who's investing in community right away,
right.
don't expect them to be there for you when you need them. One of the things I did when I launched Sorel, which was kind of illegal, but that was in this is now, is I found out who the best bartenders were
Yeah,
in each city, and I handed them a bottle. This is
yeah,
new. I'm new. Here's a bottle. Go
I
have
love
some
it.
fun. No obligation, no expectation. Just here,
Try
go
it.
play.
Try
And
it.
here's
Yeah.
here's what happens. What happens is people do not see you as a product, they see you as a belief system.
Hmm.
If you're trying to sell a product, nobody is buying your beliefs.
Mm-mm.
If you sell a belief, everybody buys your products.
Mm. That's so
Apple
good.
Apple does not sell phones. Apple sells a belief system.
For sure, 100%. But I love that you did that. And there's a story of another alcohol brand that did something a little similar to what you were talking about. Although I don't think they're very good. So anyway, we can talk about that another time. So what inspires you, Jackie?
Oh my goodness. My sweetheart is the most amazing human I've ever met. And I've met the outlier community and they're fantastic. But this woman, uh we don't have enough time. So
Mm,
I can sum it up in one sentence. The mystics taught us that if you want to know everything about the universe, you can learn it from a grain of sand or from a drop of rainwater. But if you want to touch the face of God, find your person. I
mm.
see God in her.
Oh, oh, I hope you tell her that because
Every day, every chance I get.
that's so beautiful. What would you like your legacy to be?
So here's this is a good question, and here's why. The story that I tell does not belong to me. It precedes me by centuries. I consider it an honor to be the custodian of this story for this generation. And I realize that it is my job to make sure the story is bigger than it was when I leave. However, here's the thing about why nobody did it before. My grandparents come to this country and they come from the Caribbean. And in the Caribbean, you're not black. You're just a person. And they
Mhm.
get off the boat and it's like, oh, yes, now no one can tell that you are a brand new arrived immigrant. You are subject to Jim Crow.
Mhm.
So the things that they wanted to do, they had to change the world. And I really need to drive this point home in order to make clear what I'm saying. You have to do the work. But if you're doing the work and it's not working out, you have to dismantle the systems
Yeah.
that are obstructing you. Sometimes the work is changing the world.
Yeah.
My grandparents, again, Jim Crow, gave my parents what they needed to go forth into the world. My father was a jazz musician, played with Armstrong, Billie Holiday, Ellington. My mother was a research scientist in the 1950s, doing some of the first studies on the effects of cigarette smoke in lab animals. She was getting a janitor's salary to teach doctors how to do autopsies at a time when this country had no use for women or black people.
Mm.
But they had to fight for civil rights.
Yeah.
Uh, I wake up in this world and I've inherited the deferred dreams of everyone who's come before me, but I can build on the world they created, except, except my, I'm a childless. and my sweetheart has 2 grown children, and she's not thinking about having more. Uh, my parents told my grandparents' story. I get to tell my parents and my grandparents and everyone I get to tell the story of everyone who came before me.
Yeah.
There will be nobody to tell my story. There
Well, that's
will
why you're here. So
Well,
we're
there
telling
will
your story.
be no progeny to speak about me when I'm gone. So I must leave a story that speaks for itself.
Right. I love that.
Leave a story so big, it speaks for itself.
I love it. I love it. Well, you're doing it. So what's next for Jackie?
I am literally, after I hang up with you, I will be finishing my keynote for the Oregon Wine Association. I am in the middle of a Series A funding round, so find me on LinkedIn and hit me up. There's tremendous opportunity. Right now, I'm actually writing an essay for Food and Wine about the future of alcoholic beverage. And my theory is the future is flavor.
Mm,
The
love that.
giant liquor companies, in the pursuit of short-term but enormous profit, about 20 years ago, it started to create a job position called the brand ambassador for all the big liquor brands. So they spent 20 years and $1 trillion uh, making a better consumer with 2 problems that they didn't foresee, although they did make a lot of money in the short time. Number one, it turns out a better consumer wants a better product.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what they were selling. And number two, in that 20 years, the generation aged out. And the boomers are not drinking heavy like they used to, and Gen Z is drinking differently
Yeah.
because entering the market with drink knowledge, they were aware, yes, this is poison, and they were aware there's a bunch. Is there a bunch of crap in this? Because I learned all along, and now I can drink, and I want to make sure that there's no additives and no colorants, and is there an ethical food supply chain?
Yeah.
Are there any women on the board? Like you get to have these questions now.
I love
So
those questions. It makes us all better. It makes the product better. It's great.
And when we lean in, it can be incredibly lucrative.
I
The
agree.
best example I can give when people ask me about this, Aperol was invented in 1919. It kind of
Yeah.
does nothing. It stays in Italy. It's brought into the US by Palm Bay around 2007. The first year is kind of like mine. They do around 3,000 hard cases. Palm Bay gets it up to 30,000 cases, and then Campari buys it in 2013, and they just pour a ton of money into the marketing. It
Mm-hmm.
is now an 8 million global case brand.
Yep.
That that's what I'm looking at. Can I do that?
I see that in your future, Jackie. That's what I want for you. I love
Oh,
that. So how do people find you? And well, you can find Sorel in liquor stores, yes, but how do they find you?
so Sorel, Sorel official for both the website and the social media. If you're looking for me personally, it's Jack from BKLN on Facebook and on, you
Insta.
know, I think it's different on Insta, and I think
I
it's
think you're
different
Jackie Summers on
on
Insta.
Jackie Summers on LinkedIn. Yeah. On LinkedIn, it's just Jackie Summers is really only one of me.
Yes, awesome. Well, we'll share all that. So, thank you so much for sharing your stories. I could go on for another 2 hours and just dive in on more. So maybe you'll come back
Are the
again.
best, Linz.
But I love you so much. And guys, if you liked what you heard, please go and leave a review at Apple or Spotify. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go out and buy Sorel. We love doing this show. I love having guests like Jackie on. Jackie, you've been amazing. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day and go lead with heart. Are you ready to elevate your leadership style and create an exceptional workplace that stands out from the crowd? I'm here to introduce you to a game-changing resource that will transform the way you lead and shape your company culture. It's time to embrace the power of top-down culture. This practical guide empowers your leadership for lasting success, helping you create a workplace where everyone thrives. Get top-down culture today, and let's reshape the future of leadership together. Thanks for listening to this episode of Heartbeat for Hire. I hope you enjoyed what you heard. If you did, please subscribe to my YouTube channel or consider leaving a 5-star review and a great rating at Spotify or Apple. Thank you so much for your support. Have a great day.